Welcome to the Sanity Project podcast, where you can awaken your mind to clarity and success even in today's life challenges. We're here to provide insights and solutions that will help you live a sane, healthy, and prosperous life. Here's your host, Joanne Victoria.
Hello, everybody. This is Joanne Victoria with another amazing episode of the Sanity Project podcast. You're here to discover a life of clarity, confidence, sanity, and entrepreneurial success. And we have the perfect person for you today. Her name is Shelly Lefkoe, and Shelley is here to talk about limiting beliefs. Shelly Lefkoe is co-founder of the Lefkoe Institute. Her clients are people who've struggled with changing long-standing behavioral and emotional issues such as procrastination, fear, and relationship issues. And her approach frees them to live more joyful lives. She does this by identifying the root cause of their problem, limiting beliefs. And she can eliminate these beliefs in a matter of hours. How do you do that? How do you do that? Because I mean, obviously, most people have limiting beliefs, and I have a few myself to name, just to say that. And how do you do that? I mean, it's like,
what a great opening question.
Well, I mean, I didn't.
I
didn't intend for that to be the question. I just, usually I say, how did you get here and all that? But I'm looking at, I've read.
Well, I'll tell you how you do it. So everybody has limiting. We all have beliefs.
Yes.
We have beliefs about everything, about ourselves, people, life, and the world. So people come. So we all come into this world, Joanne, as a little ball of consciousness. And we don't know anything about ourselves, life, people, or the world. And we show up in this little environment called our family, and we look at our parents or parent, and we conclude things. So anybody who has kids know that all kids, and I just came back from Vietnam, where I actually did a parenting workshop, which is my hobby. And when I asked the question, what do your kids do at when you come home at the end of the day, everybody says they run to me and they want three things. They want affection, attention, and acknowledgement. And when I ask, what's the one word question every little kid asks all day long, my client in Kuwait said, why? Kids want to know, why is the sky blue? Why can't I have dessert? Why can't I go out and play? Why do I have to go to sleep? So when you have parents, as we all did, who are critical or, judgmental or get angry when we spill things, drop things, break things, because they're human and because we don't have parenting skills, most people, we conclude things like, I'm not good enough. If we get criticized, we conclude I'm not good enough. If we don't get attention, we conclude I'm not important. If we watch them struggle, we conclude money is scarce and hard to get. And the reason that most people can't help you get rid of beliefs is because we think we see our beliefs in the world. So we've created a process. I can't tell you, here's what you should do to go get rid of beliefs, because unfortunately, you have to go through this little process. But I will give your listeners free access to do it. But the reason that they stay so stuck is, I'm writing a book about entrepreneurs. I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, thousands of CEOs, people who are stuck, whether it's procrastinating, fear of failure, so they're afraid to take risks, and because we think and underlying all of these patterns or problems are beliefs. And when you get rid of the beliefs, you will get rid of the patterns. They will go away. I was on a podcast yesterday, and I was listening to his podcast, and he said, you'll always have self-doubt. And I said, that's not true. You won't. If you get rid of the beliefs, you will get rid of the self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And how you do it is going basically through a process. You go back to where your belief was formed and reinterpret it. You look at alternative interpretations. And then ultimately you have to get that you never saw I'm not good enough. You never saw money is scarce and hard to get. You saw your parents criticize you. You saw failing in school. You saw your parents struggle and complain about money. But life is hard, or money is scarce and hard to get, or I'm not good enough is in your head. So it's basically going back and re-looking at it and then getting that you never saw it. So that's the how.
Huh. Okay, so the studying that I've been doing on limiting beliefs or patterns. I don't know. Are these patterns, or are they just beliefs?
Okay.
Only?
So let me make, so I'm going to make a distinction.
Yes.
A pattern is what you want to change. Nobody cares about changing beliefs. We care about changing patterns. A pattern is observable. So I can see you procrastinate. I can see you get into relationships where people don't treat you well. I can see you yelling at your employees even when you don't want to. I can see you afraid to launch your product or trying to get it perfect. So patterns are observable, right? We can watch you feeling anxious and, not speaking up, or, afraid to talk to your investors or your employees or your board of directors, or, afraid to take that step as an entrepreneur to pull the trigger and start the business.
Right.
So those are patterns. Beliefs are, a belief is a statement about reality that you believe is the truth. That's what a belief is. I believe that California is a good place to live and worth the taxes. A belief is people can't be trusted, or people can be trusted. So, and these beliefs are almost always mostly unconscious. I mean, if you listen to the voice in your head, you'll hear them. But underlying any pattern are the beliefs that cause it.
Got it.
So if you have a fear of public speaking, there are, I think it's 11 beliefs and what we call 3 conditionings. So if you have a fear of public speaking, everybody has the same beliefs. It's the only pattern with everybody has the same beliefs. So it's, I'm not good enough. I'm not important. What I have to say is not important. People aren't interested in what I have to say. What makes me good enough is having other people think well of me. Mm-hmm. That was the belief that ran my life till I got rid of it, which was amazing. And you can get rid of between 3 and 6 beliefs in an hour. Not in the first session. First session's 1, maybe 2, because you have to get used to the process.
Right.
And the beliefs go away and they never come back for the most part. So a fear of public speaking, mistakes and failures are bad. And if I make a mistake or fail, I'll be rejected. And here's the thing about beliefs that's so fascinating. No amount of evidence gets rid of your beliefs.
No amount of evidence.
I've worked with 5 Harvard PhDs who had the belief I'm stupid because they think they saw it. So if I had one client, this Harvard graduate, whose father, every time he made a mistake, Joanne, his father would slap him on the head and say, "Genius."
Oh.
And it didn't matter. He had this drive to succeed and succeed and succeed. And what workaholism is, so imagine I have a beach ball, right? My fist is in front of me and it's a beach ball. And I have the belief I'm not good enough, which pretty much everybody has. What makes me good enough are my achievements, because that's what I got acknowledged for as a child, achieving, right? So what makes me good enough is achieving, keeps I'm not good enough underwater. Unfortunately, because it's a beach ball, it keeps coming up. You have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So with my clients who are workaholics, they'll always tell me, I want to go to my kids' games. I want to be at their plays. I want to come home for family dinners, but I can't. And he said, one client said, I'm worth $10 million on the cover of business publications. When is it going to be enough? And the answer is never, because your achievements will never make you good enough.
As long as he has that belief, right?
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Okay. So this is interesting. Huh. Okay. So that's what you mean when you say here in writing, that it fails in the long term because they're not looking at the right thing. You had written down and, whatever, whether the issue is going to the gym, losing weight, overcoming doubts and fears. Most of what people do works in the short term, but fails in the long term.
Yeah, because if you don't get rid of your beliefs are going to win out every time.
Right.
If you believe water is boiling hot, you're not going to put your finger in it. So if you believe what makes me good enough on my achievements and you keep achieving and achieving, at some point you're going to fail at something or you're not going to do well, or a younger person comes in and threatens your job or something happens that threatens your success, up comes, I'm not good enough. So it never works. If what makes me good enough is doing things perfectly, you're a perfectionist, and then one day you fail and you don't do something perfect and up comes, I'm not good enough. If you're the oldest of 10, or you're the oldest in a big family, what you get acknowledged for is taking care of the siblings. So you conclude what makes me good enough is taking care of people. And now you become a healthcare professional, a nurse, or a caretaker. And you have to keep taking care of people in order to feel good enough. But what you start realizing is you're sacrificing your life, your needs, your desires. You're always taking care of people. And you have to do that to keep the beach ball underwater. But eventually it's going to come up.
So you have something on your website about doing this on your own. I think there was something there.
First of all, if you go to eliminatebeliefs.com, you can actually pick one of 3 of the most common beliefs that people have. Mm-hmm. And you can eliminate one for free. So you can do that. But we created a course, self-study, that's 19 of the most common self-esteem beliefs that people have, including mistakes and failures are bad. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve. I'm not good enough. I'm not important. I don't have what it takes. I'm stupid. All of those. And you interact with a video.
Right.
And you can just take yourself through the process and get rid of your self-esteem beliefs.
So this is turning into a master class, shall we say, with you being the master here, mistress. No, we can't do that. That doesn't work. Mistress. Huh.
Yeah. But when you look at your life, anytime you feel like you're stuck, mm-hmm. instead of looking at more, better, different, ask what questions. So I always tell people, why is meaning, and meaning is made up. So we have a whole course where we teach people how to dissolve the meaning they give events, because the meaning you give events cause all your emotions. And the meaning that you give events generally comes from your beliefs. So if you get rid of beliefs, then you don't have to do this. But this is a stopgap to get rid of negative emotions in the moment. So if you ask why is this happening? Why won't people listen to me? Why can't I make money? Why can't I hold on to money? Why is meaning, and meaning is always made up. Meaning is in your mind. And even if you knew why you did things, it's not powerful. It's not, I know why. Oh, I'm afraid to make mistakes and fail. That's why I don't take chances. Now what? But if you ask what questions, what can I do about it? What do I believe that has me do that? What can I do differently? What can I do that I have never done before? So anyway, don't ask why, ask what. That's just a free giveaway. It's just a piece of advice.
Yes.
But ultimately, if you ask, what might I believe that would have me doing this? It will illuminate something that you have the power to control, which is why I love my work. Because if it's somebody else's fault, if it's the economy or the industry or my boss or that person, then there's nothing you can do about it. You're a victim. But if you can look at a pattern of, well, it keeps happening.
Right.
So it must be me, right? There's people who make money during COVID, during the economy, during
big money.
Right, exactly. So if you look at what must I believe that's in the way, and then, go through these steps, which again, I'll give you access to the steps and just walk yourself through it, you can eliminate that belief. And then once you eliminate the beliefs, you have possibilities that you didn't have before. Inside the box, I'll tell you a great story. I had a fear of public speaking client. And when he was a kid, his father used to stop talking to him when he made a mistake or failed.
My God.
So for days. So he had the belief, if I make a mistake or fail, I'll be rejected, which is a very common belief. So he's working with me and he kept saying, but I did see that. And he finally got what he saw was his father stopped talking to him for days, but he never saw any time I make a mistake or fail, I'll be rejected. That was something he made up. So he finally got through the process. The belief goes away. And the next day he's doing a presentation.
Wow.
And somebody points out that what he said was wrong. And he said, oh, what's the right answer? And the guy tells him, he says, everybody listen up. What I just said was wrong. What Charlie just said was right. Charlie, can you please repeat it? He does. And he says, Charlie, thank you for speaking up. I would have hated to walk out of here, to have people walk out of here with the wrong information. And he goes on with his presentation. So he's walking back to his office and he's thinking, oh my God, that was amazing. It was no big deal. And he walks into his office, Joanne, and the phone is ringing, and it's the executive vice president of his company. And he says, I was in the room when you made that mistake. I was so impressed with how you handled it. I'm putting you up for a promotion.
Wow. And that's true. That's what happens. Once you do it, everything changes.
He said, I not only didn't get rejected, Shelley, I got promoted.
Thanks to you and your teachings.
It was so good. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this, Shelley?
Oh God, over 30 years.
How come when I was living in Marin County, I didn't know you?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously,
Oh,
I'm looking at the 415 area code and I'm looking, okay, that's why I'm going to ask you where you live, because sometimes people take the phone numbers with them
right,
from
with
other
them, right.
locations, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm going, okay. And then you're telling me, and it's like, okay, I'm there. I understand. And I don't know you.
yeah.
And that has, well, I'm meeting you now and that's great, but it's like, for those who are listening, because I go off book, it doesn't matter. I don't know everybody. I'm an introvert. However, I know quite a few people. And here's Shelly Lefkoe in Marin County, in a city that I used to live in. I lived out in by the water. What is it called?
Sausalito?
No, no, no. When I lived in Novato. I lived in Novato. I lived in Sausalito.
Oh.
And I think I was interested in other things at the time, possibly, but this should have been there. This should have been there. So it's interesting that I'm meeting you now.
Well, my clients are all over the world because I work on Zoom. So I have clients in Syria, Kuwait, Australia. Yeah, I mean, thank goodness for Zoom. We could get this work out into the world in a big, big, big way. Yeah.
Right. But when I was there, Zoom wasn't a thing.
Ah.
So that might be it. We'll just say that's the what. How's that? How's
Okay.
that?
All right.
Okay. And I want to tell people she has a great website. It has everything that you could possibly want to know. And it's Marty Lefkoe.
Morty.
Morty?
Morty.
Sorry. Oh, there it is. MortyLefkoe.com. And that's MortyLefkoe.com. I usually spell these things because people don't get it. And you can find Shelley at Instagram at Shelly Lefkoe, YouTube. I will put all of this on her page on my website. And
yeah, and don't forget to go to eliminatebeliefs.com and you can eliminate a belief for free.
Well, you could also redo it, can't you?
No.
Ah.
Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe you can redo it. I actually don't know the answer to that. Maybe.
But they can hire you. Now, do you do groups at all locally? Via Zoom? Nope.
Nope. I do one-on-one sessions and I do, keynote speech. I spoke in Russia right before the pandemic. And we have courses. You can be trained to do this. We used to do the trainings in person, but now we have it all streamlined and it's all online. And we have a course called the Occurring Course, which is, unfortunately, it's filled. But we teach you how to dissolve meaning. We have lots of stuff, lots of good stuff.
And most of it, if not all of it, is attainable on your website, yes?
Yeah, and it's lefkoeinstitute.com. Yep.
Okay. I'm fascinated with your work because, why is the question we always ask. And I've spent a lot of time asking why on certain beliefs that I haven't been able to get through personally. And yes, I, Joanne Victoria, do have beliefs that don't always work for me. And one of the reasons I do these podcasts is that I would run across someone like Shelly Lefkoe from the Lefkoe Institute who is telling me there's a difference between a pattern and a belief. And I can't see that yet. I'll just accept that. And I'm going to have to go and do work on that because this is really
So a pattern is something you do over and over again. It's repeatable. Think of patterns as behaviors, right?
Right.
Beliefs are statements about reality. So life is hard. That's a belief. That's not a pattern. A pattern would be, I struggle and never have enough money. A belief would be, people can't be trusted. A pattern is, I get screwed over all the time.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've been reading recently, I have it in my bathroom actually, a book. It's by Adele Dragon. She's from Toronto. And she has, it's a whole book. I think it's too long. Sorry, Adele. But it's about the 4 steps to eliminate a pattern. And she gives you the whole thing, how to do it. And there's still something missing. So I am looking at the belief. See, it's the belief. It's not the pattern. Pattern is something, because every time you release a pattern, you create another pattern. Yes? No?
no.
Oh,
If you release beliefs, you eliminate beliefs. When you eliminate a pattern, you stop doing it. So if I eliminate the pattern of procrastination, I don't procrastinate anymore. I don't put things off. If I have something to do, I do it. If I get rid of the pattern of not speaking up for myself, I start speaking up for myself. When I got rid of the belief, what makes me good enough is having other people think well of me.
sure.
My pattern of worrying about what does this one think and that one think, and walking away from a conversation with this voice in my head. When I got rid of that belief, I was able to get up in front of people and serve and give 100% of myself, because I'm not worried about what people think of me. Nope, not everybody's going to love me, and that's okay. What I want is to know, did I serve you or didn't I serve you? If I didn't, tell me what I could do. Like, I came home from Vietnam and I looked at my evaluations.
Sure.
And there's all 5 out of 5 and 4s. And then I see a 3 and I go, what's that?
Of course.
I wanted you to speak more about teenagers. And I said, oh, that's interesting. We weren't clear that my parenting stuff is early education, mostly for pre-teens and adolescents. Right. So I'll make sure next time to tell people that it's not really for teenagers. So you learn and you grow from the input, but I no longer worry about me. I'm good. Like, if you like me, you don't like me, I'm okay. Now, feedback, I'll grow, I'll learn, and I'll move it along. And that's a freedom. And that's the thing that my work is about. It's about giving people freedom from the patterns that keep them stuck. Right? It's the behaviors. The patterns are the behaviors that you see over and over again. And the beliefs are what caused the pattern.
There we go. I want to stop you right there, because that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
All right. Shelly Lefkoe, Lefkoe Institute. Everything is going to be on her page on my website. And this has been, as you've noticed, that I haven't spoken that much during this episode, but that's usually the way it goes when I have somebody like Shelly Lefkoe here. Anyway, I want to thank you, Shelley, for being here. And
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
There we go. Thank you. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com to listen to more podcasts. Check out Joanne's coaching programs and get a free copy of her report, 5 Steps to Achieve Life-Work Harmony. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.